Well, hello, YouTube and Spotify. Welcome. It's episode 95 to the Just BSing podcast. And I know, like we said in the previous episode, which was not last week, the week before that, I was on a little bit of a trip, a little bit of a vacation of sorts. Had a great time. But we are back. We are back, and there is plenty to go after. There's plenty to talk about. Football is back, baby. Football is about to be back. We are talking about the last Thursday that we will have without any football, because next week is the Hall of Fame game. And after that, it's football until February. All weekend, every weekend, college football, NFL, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. Motherfucker, I'm hyped. And I just dropped the F-bomb a minute into our broadcast. Sorry, Mom. I love you, but I'm hyped, okay? But my goodness, Andrew, how are we feeling? I know, obviously, we took that week break for us. Appreciate that, because I tell you what, there was no way I was going to be able to get back. We got back, I think, like at 9:30 or 10 o'clock on Saturday, so I had no time last weekend when I got back. So I was like, thank God we just decided to take a week off, come back fresh, and come back with some new stuff to discuss, because there's been a lot going on since the last time we talked, my friend.
Yeah, dude, there's been a lot that's been going on. I'm glad to hear that you had a good time on your trip. You know, that's always a good thing. Also, too, before I'm going to air this out too, at the end of August, I will be going on my own trip. So,
I'll
be going on a Thursday, so probably no podcast because I'm leaving the 28th through the 31st. I'm going to Jersey to go watch the Columbus Crew play against New York Red Bulls in Jersey. So fun little soccer trip. Yeah,
it's a good excuse if I say so myself.
Yeah, so just continuing my little soccer journey and checking out some cool stadiums. And then mid-August, I will be going to Orlando, to watch them play Orlando City. So that'll be another fun one. So we're going to enjoy those, but wanted to air that out. So if people freak out there's no podcast, I'll probably say it again this time next month. Just to get some clarification. But dude, I'm glad you had a good trip. And football is here, dude. And it's exciting. That means fantasy football is right around the corner. That means mock drafts again and stuff like that. Oh, dude, football.
You know what else that means? That means you're going to be spending money getting into these leagues.
Yeah. Just so we can lose, baby.
Well, I don't know. Last year, I actually did good in our Dynasty League. Thank God.
Yeah, didn't you win?
Pretty much. Yes, I did.
Yeah, you won the Dynasty League, yeah.
I think I won that game by like 3 points or something. It was something like super close. And it was because of that. I think it was the Detroit game at the very end of the year that they went off. Like
yeah,
Gibbs had 2 scores. I think the tight end scored as well up at the end. Just everybody went off, and like I think I have 2 or 3 guys on the Lions on that team. So they helped me. Or no, it was that, and it was the Rams running back. That's right. It was that shootout against the Rams, I think.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of played a part in that game. It was super fun. So yeah, hoping that I can go back to back with it, but I'm not gonna have my hopes up, because that Dynasty League is actually, it's pretty competitive.
It's a brutal league.
It is, especially Dynasty League. Like, if any of you guys have done Dynasty Leagues and you've done them for, I think we're going on like 4 or 5 years, at least for me in this league. It's a gauntlet, because the team that I started with is not the same team that I've ended with. And the only drafts that you do are rookie drafts. So you build with rookies every year, and then you make a decision on who to drop and all that stuff. So I remember when I came into the league, I was allowed 4 keepers, and my keepers were Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Travis Kelce, and Darren Waller. Well, Darren Waller's out of the league, and Watson obviously is going to be pretty much out of the league at this point. So I basically have Kyler Murray and Travis Kelce, who has been a big part in my team's success. But I've had to build, and now I got to build receivers because Tank Dell's going to be out. And my receiving core is going to be a little tanked. So
Well,
it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I can't.
if you need receivers, you come to me because I'm the one with all the receivers.
It sounds like it
Because
because
I have I have Tyreek Hill, I have Jordan Addison, Mike Evans, Lad McConkey. I got the receivers.
so during my last game, now I will say some of the guys that I have on my bench that like are actually going to do better for me. Because I do have Waddle. Waddle got hurt at the end of the year, so he wasn't in my starting lineup. But and obviously I had Dell, but I also have Jamari Thrash, who should inevitably get a bigger role this year. So I'm hoping he's going to be able to do a little more. I have David Moore, not DJ Moore. David Moore, he was all right. I got Kenneth Walker, who's always hurt, but he's solid. Bo Nix is my other quarterback, so that was a huge pickup for me last year. I got Jerome Ford, but I basically had to start my final game with this following starting roster. So it was Kyler Murray and Bo Nix as my quarterbacks, Gibbs and Kyron Williams as my running backs, Scary Terry, Zacchaeus. I'm not even gonna say his first name. Xavier Legette, Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, Jerome Ford, and then obviously Bo Nix. So I had a random roster, and I literally won 174 to 173.4 to win that game. So it was a squeaker. It really was a squeaker, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna need some receivers for my picks, and then I'll probably try to get at least one of the quarterbacks this year, but we'll see. Honestly, quarterback probably isn't in the cards for this year. It's probably going to be running back, and definitely running back. The running backs are insane this year.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna try and get one of those rookie running backs. I need to keep stacking my running backs because I have Derrick Henry, and Joe Mixon, but I think Joe Mixon is starting off the year on the pup list, so I'm not gonna have him for a little bit. So I'm definitely gonna have to go and snag a rookie running back that I can put into that position for sure. So we'll see how it goes.
But yeah, that's the point, though. Is we're only 7 minutes into the podcast, and we were going to start with Guardians talk, and we're already on fantasy football talk.
Because football's back, baby. Football is back. That's what we do.
It's not an addiction, I promise. It's not an addiction. It neither will be my weekly bets that I probably make 3 or 4 bets in a week because I'm not addicted at all.
As I
not an addiction.
Bets every single day of the week.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard for me to bet on baseball. It's easier to bet on
football,
basketball, and then obviously football is the easiest one to bet on. I think I've had my biggest wins with only football. So that's usually what I prefer to do because I think it's a little bit easier to kind of predict what's going to happen in a sense. You just got to be with how you parlay it. But yeah, we will get back into football here in a minute because I do want to talk some guards because the guards have been playing much, much better since the last time that we talked. Now, the last time we did talk, they were winning. I think they went into All-Star break just before that. I think it was the weekend prior to that. So they had won like 2 or 3 games because they played the White Sox, I think, just before the break. And they come back, and I think we've won every series that we've played so far. We just won 3-1 to the Orioles. They beat us today, but I'm saying we won the series. And the Guardians are scoring better, and I'll tell you what, the pitching staff, besides Allen, who even didn't have a bad game today, he just gave him a few runs early. Besides that, the rest of the staff has been pretty dialed in, and it starts with guys like Gavin Williams and Slade Ciccone, man. They are becoming just my favorites in this starting rotation, man. What's the thoughts? I know you've gotten to go to some games, so you've gotten to see it a little bit, but so far everything seems like a much more fluid, organized machine than it was just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you're starting to see a lot of these guys gain a lot of confidence back. Especially just before All-Star break, because we were on a 6-game, 7-game winning streak. And then obviously we had the one loss on the doubleheader against the Sox, which kind of killed that streak. But then we obviously won the next day, and then we went to All-Star break, and then we went on to like a little mini like 3-game win streak, and then obviously we went 2-1 against the A's, and then now as of today 3-1 against the Orioles, and I think we're like 7 for like 11 or whatnot in the last 11 games, or like 8-2 in the last 10. So the Guardians have been absolutely just dialed in on the last week since All-Star. And the big thing that we need to talk about too is the fact that we started going into All-Star break like almost like 13 and a half, 14 and a half games back of Detroit. And we're now just chilling 8 games back of them. And we're chilling 2.5 games back of the wild card. So we've really done some damage control and have really started to climb back into the wild card and even climbing back into the division. And if you go into Kansas City starting tomorrow and this weekend, going into the weekend, then you come back home on Monday against the Rockies. And the Guardians also have the most favorable schedule in all of Major League Baseball. We have the weakest schedule coming up. And I think that definitely plays a lot into our favor. And we have the most home games too in the second half of the season because we played a majority of our games on the road in the first half. So a lot of home games, a lot of easy opponents. And this could spell for the Guardians a major comeback and a chance at the postseason again. And just salvaging what crazy of a season it's been so far. And like you said, it starts with the pitching this second half. Like Gavin has looked unbelievable. Like, Gavin looks like an ace. He's looked ungodly good. He had like 11 Ks in his last start. He had like 9 Ks in the game before that. And he's only given up like 1 or 2 runs in each of those games. Like he's just been electric. Slade Ciccone, although he stumbled a little bit the other day, he found his rhythm in the middle of the game and got the job done. And even today, like Logan Allen didn't look that bad. Like, yeah, he had a bad start, but again, it was Ramon Laureano who he gave up the home run to, which Laureano has killed us this season. So that was to be expected in a sense.
Yeah.
So I can't really blame Logan Allen for that one. It was just Laureano destroying him or destroying us all series long. So I'll give him a pass for that one. But after that first inning, he looked phenomenal for the rest of the game. So it starts off with this pitching staff, or at least the starters. They have looked so much. Even Bybee in his last start looked a lot better than he had all season. Mm-hmm. And that's the starts we need from him for the rest of the year. It's the starts we need to continue from Gavin and Slade and Allen. I mean, Joey Cantillo looks phenomenal too. Like people forget about him, but he's looked really good too, coming in, filling in. And we have Shane Bieber on the rise, who pitched 3 innings and 46 pitches yesterday for Lake County and had 4 or 5 strikeouts and only gave up 1 hit, or gave up 2 hits and an earned run. So Bieber is coming back relatively soon, probably by the end of the month, if the rehabs continue to go well. So things are turning into the Guardians' favor, and like you said, the hitting has been fantastic. The guys are starting to hit the baseball better. Quan had a 2 home run game today, so he was mashing the baseball. I mean, Jose just being Jose Ramirez, nothing's changed there.
I mean, I feel like today is like the first day that he hasn't hit a home run. It seems like.
Yeah, I know, right?
It seems like every day he hits one. Now, I mean, I don't think he has in the last like 2 or 3 days, but still, like.
Oh no, today was like today. Last night was like the only day he didn't hit a home run, and today,
it's wild. Yeah, it's wild. So yeah,
Quan gave him one, so because Quan had 2, and he said one of them's for Jose, one of them's for me.
Right, so, exactly.
But yeah, the hitting, even guys like Nolan Jones has looked a lot better at the plate. Angel Martinez has been unbelievable since coming back from the All-Star break. Angel Martinez has been lighting up the bat. Like, he's been really good. So it's nice to see that we have a push there. And especially, I don't know if it's you that's noticed and or if anyone else has noticed, but like the bottom of the order has actually been hitting the ball a lot better. Like Rocchio is hitting the ball a lot better since he came back up a second time.
Yes. So is Bo Naylor. He's been a little bit better too.
Yeah, Nolan Jones in the middle of the lineup is hitting the ball well. Although he got unlucky today with his, I don't know if you saw the fly ball they hit. That was like up against the wall. And Laureano like made like an over the back shoulder catch or whatever. And that would have scored like 3 runs or 2 runs. And that was on a bases loaded. So I felt bad for Nolan Jones because he literally turned to the dugout and shot a as he knows he got screwed again. But everything's starting to click for the boys. The guys are hitting. The vibes are immaculate. They're having fun again. The only thing that I have concern about is the bullpen,
Yeah.
and it's not Clase.
Just really just Matt freaking Festa. That's
It's just
all it is.
Matt Festa and Jacob Junis, just those two.
They're
Other
terrible.
than that, everyone else has been fantastic.
I literally had him in my notes specifically, as in when will Vogt get or give up on Festa? This feels like a Brian Shaw 2.0 with Tito that we had for so many years. Like everybody was like, I'm tired of Brian Shaw. Why is he still here? That's what we're dealing with Matt Festa. And the worst part about it is he always brings him up when we have a solid lead and like things are starting to go well. And then it's just like even last game where he comes in after, they do a fantastic job and he gives up like a hit, a walk, and then a run, and then another hit. And you're like, what the heck are they doing? And then I forget who they brought up. I think it was Kate Smith or something came right in and just diced him up. It was totally fine. Like nothing. And it's like, man, why are we doing this to ourselves? Like, why can't we just give the guys that we know are going to give us production consistently just play? Because again, as long as you come into the 9th inning with a lead, Clase is probably going to do it. Like every so often, somebody is going to get the better of Clase. But for the most part, he definitely seems more dialed in now. Could be because of the trade rumors, I don't know, but he does seem pretty dialed in. And we'll see if the Guards even really make a move, which I still think they should, but it's going to be typical Guardians trade deadlines where it's going to be more so these like mid-level guys of like the Lane Thomas quality guys, and then they'll pick up guys if they need, like how we did last year with the 2 guys that we brought in pitching wise that were good but weren't elite. The one dude was pretty solid and he's done pretty well with Chicago. But other than that, like it's just typical Guardians fashion to do something like that. They're not going to go make a big move. So for me, as long as a team doesn't offer us like the sun, moon, and stars for a guy like Clase or even Quan, you probably keep them here. You probably don't really get rid of them because now they're getting back into the feel of things. Mm-hmm. And if you're, within that 3 games of the wild card, like you are, you're giving yourself a chance. And the other fun thing too, and I was just getting ready to go ahead and discuss this as well, is Bazana is back in AA. Yeah. We could very well see him up. And with that good news, there's also bad news. Is CDL is made of glass, which is not a shock to most people that have been keeping up with this team. But he has a fracture in his wrist. He's going to be out until at least September. I'm saying he's probably not going to see the big leagues this year at this rate, and you won't see any sort of CDL. So maybe Kafis, maybe if Santana goes. It doesn't seem necessarily likely that they get rid of him unless, again, they get offered a substantial, offer. I don't know, man. It's an interesting spot to be in because the Guardians are, again, they're still, they're literally 500, so they're still a good team, but not a horrible enough team to completely abandon certain guys. And if you abandon certain guys, you're going to piss other guys off, like Ramirez and Quan and those guys that are a big part of this core and a big part of this team's success. So it is a weird fine line to be in, but it is no shocker that the Guardians still have and should make some sort of move. And if they get an offer that is too good to be true, then you should probably take it anyway because you need it for your future, not for your present.
Yeah, and I think at least for Santana, I think they're going to move him just so they can make room for Kyle Manzardo to be the everyday first baseman because obviously Manzardo has been a better hitter. You could work on the defensive side of things, which today he played very well defensively. So I don't think that's going to be much of a concern.
Yeah.
Someone on Twitter, I don't know if you saw this, but someone on Twitter posted like the numbers of Carlos Santana. And it said if you take out like the month of May and like April and May, whatever, and you take a look at Santana's numbers, he's like truly batting like 150 with like a 400 OPS. And then he's like playing like absolutely dreadful baseball, like at the plate at least.
Right.
And Kyle Manzardo's obviously, at least in the last few games, like I think today he also got a hit today too. Yeah, he did. It's one of those things where it's like Kyle Manzardo's on a hitting streak right now. You might as well, and I like what Vogt has done with the lineup a little bit by making Manzardo like the everyday DH now, even against lefties, and just putting Santana at first, which is like, okay, finally Manzardo's in the lineup every day. I think they're finally realizing maybe we should have done this a long time ago. But I think what they're gonna do is I think they might say like, listen, Santana, you're 40 years old. You're not what you used to be. The city loves you. We all love you. Like, obviously, there's no love lost. Like, we all love Carlos Santana. Like, he's a legend in Cleveland forever. And we are always going to be thankful for what he's done, especially for the World Series run and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's time to retire. It's time to call it quits. You're 40 years old. You don't have it anymore. Yeah. So I think they do move him, even if you don't get too much for him. I think you still move him just so you can make room for Kyle Manzardo to be the everyday first baseman. And then if you really want to, you can make room for CJ Kayfis to maybe take over that DH slot. Or if you want him playing in the field, then you can just send down Jonathan Rodriguez.
Right.
And move Nolan Jones to center field, put Kayfis out in right, and then stop playing Will Wilson, period, or send his ass down. And then you could just leave Martinez at second base. And if Schneemann, wants to play third, obviously he can take over for Jose when Jose needs a day off and DHs.
Yep.
That's where you slot in Schneemann. Or even Martinez could play third too. It doesn't matter. Whoever you want to put at second and third, whether it's Martinez or Schneemann, it doesn't really matter. You can flip-flop to both of them. But I think right now Martinez has been hitting a lot better than Schneemann, which, don't get me wrong, Schneemann is still hitting the ball really well.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, again, one of those things where like you got to kind of pick and choose who you want in there. But obviously you're going to probably keep in Schneemann at second, Martinez in center, because if you do bring up Kayfis, he's more likely going to stay at DH just so he can get at bats. So I do think Kayfis should come up at some point within the next couple weeks just to see what he has and be like, listen, this was supposed to be DeLauder's move, but we're going to give you the chance. But I think they're waiting to bring him up until they move Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to bring him up and then he's got nowhere to go. I think you send down David Fry as well, so that way you can have Kayfis be that everyday DH, and he doesn't have to worry about David Fry, or unless you just want David Fry in there just in case you need somebody there.
Well, even at least putting Manzardo as the everyday DH, like at least something, because Manzardo can hit, both righties and lefties. Like you don't have to just play him one or the other; he can do it all. So, like at least for me, like I'm cool with him at least being that.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think you do have to find a way to get Manzardo in the lineup a hell of a lot more than he has. And if that's the way you got to do it, then so be it. But Santana's 39. It's not like he's going to be the future. I think you can afford to get rid of him now and at least get something out of it. Even if it's just cash considerations at this point, I don't care. I really don't.
Well, and I think that's the thing, too, is I think they're willing to give Manzardo the everyday first base and give a shot to Kayfis at this point. But you have to make room for him, so you have to get rid of Santana. And I think Lane Thomas just gets him dealt to somewhere, even if that's for like cash considerations or something, because he's been on the injured list for the last month and so, and he cannot stay healthy.
God, he probably hasn't even played a full 30 games yet.
Yeah, he can't stay healthy at all, period. So
Oh.
I think you see him gone. I think that's why you haven't seen him come back. He might be healthy already, but I think they just don't want him to play because I think they're still like, hey, we could probably get something out of this guy in a trade. So might as well just move him and Santana, make Martinez the everyday center fielder or whatnot. See what we got. So I think a couple of guys are going to get dealt, and
Well,
I think this was going to be the time where we're going to see Chase DeLardu come up if was just after the deadline and after all the moves were made. But of course, the dude shatters his wrist by doing nothing, and now he's going to miss basically the rest of the season. So maybe we'll try again next year, and maybe this time he'll start in the actual ball club instead of in AAA. Because I'd rather him get hurt up here than down in AAA. Because at least up here, we can use the bat while he's healthy.
Exactly. I mean, that would at least give us something. Like, and I mean something. But
and he should have been up here before he got injured anyway. So
I mean, 100%.
I think that's just gross negligence on the front office.
Don't even get me started on our stupid front office. They're so dumb. So dumb. And they annoy me almost as much as the Browns front office does.
I think they work together.
Yeah, they just all work in tandem to just fuck us up. And then you got the Cavs who are just
the perfect brand organization.
Like there's hardly anything to really complain about them besides them not winning when they should. But it's like at least they try, they spend the money, and they have a good team. Like they meet every other criteria that you want. At least they make themselves able to compete for a potential to win a championship at some point or in that same season, where the Browns have no hope ever and the Guardians give us false hope and then get bounced after the wild card, or they get bounced in the wild card. So
well, luckily for the Guardians, they have that dude who's going to take over in like 2 years, and maybe everything will be different with him. And he'll spend a shit ton of money and make us a good organization.
I mean, you would hope. I mean, we'll see if he does or not, but he's clearly going to be better and more better off than freaking the Dolans, because the Dolans have just I don't even think the Dolans actually care about Cleveland at all. I truly don't. And I guess that's fine now, but also feelings mutual at this point. I don't think there's a single fan here that enjoys the Dolans.
Well, I saw something that on Twitter, some Paul Dolan spent $15 million on Paul Sewald and Jacob Junis, and then they're like, you know what? He also spent $15 million on Matt Dolan's political campaign. Brother put as much money as into his brother's political campaign than his own baseball team. You think you should use that money for your baseball team? Your brother's a billionaire himself. He can fund himself. He don't need you. You don't need to pour money into his bullshit. How about you spend that? That's already $30 million. You could have got for $30 million? A good amount of people to help this roster. Which you probably should have done in the first place. But instead we got Paul Sewald and Jacob Junis and Matt Festa. We got all three for that $15 million.
We have the Three Stooges is what we have.
Sewald hasn't even pitched in a month. Well, he pitched a couple weeks ago, then got re-injured.
All right.
So he came back, pitched 1 or 2 games, and then got re-injured and has not been back since.
All right.
And Jacob Junis is just as bad as Matt Festa.
Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle of BS with them. So
yeah.
But yeah, the good thing is they are winning games.
Yeah.
Although they are now still at 500, but they are at least playing better ball than they were just a few weeks ago. So that's positive. Yeah. That's good, and I think that is enough Guardians talk, because, gosh bless it, I'm ready for football. I'm tired of talking about baseball all the time. I love baseball, but baseball isn't fun until October. That's my opinion. I think the season itself is the most boring season out of any professional sport that you can think of, to me. It helps for you because you get to go to games every day pretty much, because you got the ball, you get the ballpark pass, you live in Cleveland. I get that. That's when it's fun. It
Yeah.
just isn't like you will watch it on TV. It's like watching golf. Even golf is more fun at times because at least there's some hype around it, and it's not every day or even gambling until we get back. There we go. At least my end is you're frozen. There we go.
There we go.
I don't know what's going on with either one of us. I don't know if it's you or me more, but either way, the YouTubers will probably see it, which is totally okay. But yeah, point is, we are in football. Football is back. We are in day 2 now of camp, and things are already starting to get spicy around the league. There's quite a few things that have gone on. Just today alone, Justin Fields dislocated his toe because somebody stepped on it during practice. Jerome Ford yesterday has some sort of minor leg issue that he's dealing with right now, which is not ideal because, as we talked about, Judkins is dealing with his own stuff, which is, it sucks because every day it only seems to really sound worse and worse by the minute because it doesn't sound like the act itself was as violent as other acts have been, but it's still a domestic violence case, and it's just
Yeah.
as serious as the next one. And unfortunately, these types of players follow Andrew Berry around like a bee around honey. It is ridiculous how many times a year we have to deal with Andrew Berry in drafting a guy that has some sort of domestic dispute in the offseason. I don't know why. I don't know what he is so infatuated with. And what ticked me off more, I don't know if you saw this, what ticked me off more was his tone in reference to Shadur's speeding tickets was harsher than his tone talking about the Judkins stuff.
Yeah.
That to me, that doesn't sit well with me at all because Sanders is a good kid. He just got caught speeding. Who to F cares? I don't care. Yes, do I want him to be safe? Yes. Do I want him to not speed? Yes. But when we're talking about a speeding ticket that's going to be $200 or $300 and a few points on your license, that ain't nothing compared to hitting a woman in the chin during an altercation. I'm sorry, but like I shouldn't have to re-explain that for anybody in the audience as to what's worse.
Yeah.
And yet this effort, I know I've already cussed a few times this episode. I'm trying to be better at it because it's going to be a bad look on me in the future, and I want to do better at that. But this dummy, this idiot, Andrew Berry, I crashed out yesterday. You guys heard me. I was crashing out with Andrew Berry because I cannot stand him. He is a total and utter failure. And if it wasn't for a couple of moves and a couple of things that he's gotten lucky on, he would have been a complete and total disaster. We have the most expensive roster in the league, or one of, and yet we're probably going to win 4 or 5 games this season again. You don't know who your starting quarterback is because you're going from a 40-year-old quarterback in Flacco to maybe Small Hands Pickett, who fumbled like twice today in 11-on-11. And then you have a third-round quarterback that is almost as tall as me at this point. I should say almost as short as me because I'm 5'8" with shoes on. And then you have Shadur Sanders, who's probably not even going to chance to knock at the door until the end of the year when we've ran through everybody else and injuries happen because it's inevitable. This is the Cleveland Browns that we were talking about. Now you got the Judkins stuff. Andrew Berry's a failure, and I'm at this point, my patience and what did I write down? My patience and just ability to care about and hope for Andrew Berry's success has dwindled beyond any sort of capability. And I want nothing more than for him to be fired mid-season. I don't even want him to make the whole season. I want Andrew Berry gone by bye week. And what's going to happen is if we lose a bunch of games, it's going to end up being Stefanski. And I don't want that. So, man, this season is going to be interesting. And I still have some optimism for this team because I do think they have the right guys to help lead the charge and really try to be a potential to turn it around and have a better season than what you're projected to have. But that first 7 weeks, man, even the first 4 weeks, the first month of the season, gauntlet. Bengals, Baltimore. I think they got the Lions and the Packers like right away, just coming out the gate. And then you got your London game. I think you got the Steelers in there as well. Like, you have some really tough games, and you don't have a lot of hope and help on your side because Judkins is going to be suspended probably 3 to 5 games, maybe even 6 at this point. Jerome Ford, I mean, I think he's a wash. I even said this yesterday as well. I would rather take 70% of Nick Chubb than 100% of Jerome Ford. And this is why I was such a huge proponent and fan of wanting to still re-sign Chubb no matter what the money looked like, because at least it gave you insurance and it gave you a familiar face that you know you could trust. And even with the young guys, you could split up the runs and you could keep Chubb fresh and not force him to run 20 times a game. Now he's in Houston, and good luck. So there's a lot going on with this team, and I want to try to remain somewhat positive. And I'm hoping that the preseason kind of helps me feel a little better if certain guys can sort of shine a little bit. But as we all know from the last few seasons, get guys like DTR who play phenomenal in the preseason, and then they get to regular season and they're complete garbage. So I don't know. I'm trying to keep optimism at a low for this year because I am preparing for what is going to be a hard year, and my heart is going to go more towards Ohio State than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But at least football is back. Fantasy is back. So I guess we can try to stay positive about that. But what is the early thoughts with everything going on between Judkins, between the quarterback race, between Barry, between it all? Because I impact a lot there. It was more of a rant, and I could see your face slowly getting just like, crap.
No, my thought is, do I really have to talk about this?
Yes, we do. It's our job on the podcast, my friend.
I know, and I'm thinking about the things I want to say and the TikToks later I'm gonna have to make and I don't want to make. So
yeah, you've been kidding.
No, like you said, there's just so much going on. I mean, with the Judkins situation, kid's an idiot, man. Like, you just got drafted to your dream job, and within the first few months, you already hit a woman across the face because you guys got into an argument on vacation. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me, dog? You can't just handle like a civilized adult and just talked about it. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, and don't excuse him for his age either. Like, he's older than 20 years old. Like, he should know better. Like, he's older than 18. He should know better not to hit a woman. Like,
and like, you were just in a program that is very religious and like was very strong in your beliefs, and you were in that group. Like, how did that not rub off on you in a certain way? Like, for me, like, you see guys like Henderson and Abuka, who, for me, like, I'm pretty religious myself, and seeing that is like, that's great that they are very upstanding people and they take that part of their life seriously. And then you get Judkins, who, I mean, I said this before the podcast, the dude looks like he's in a gang sometimes. Like, he just reps it so hard where you're like, man, He's hardcore. And before this, everybody said he was a nice kid, and I'm sure he is. But behind closed doors, if you're making mistakes and you're not able to hold your tone and hold yourself accountable to not put yourself in a position to get in trouble like this as a future NFL player who doesn't even have guaranteed money yet, dude, like that's on you. There's not a single person else to blame. You can't blame your anger. You can't blame the woman. You can't blame any of that. That's all on you, buddy. And now, instead of being guaranteed $11 million or whatever it was, I bet you he gets less than 5. It's probably gonna be like 2 to 5 or like 2 to 3 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah, he's gonna sign like a $5 million contract with like 2 of it guaranteed. And he missed out on like an $11 million contract with like 7-8 million guaranteed. So that's on you, and you're gonna have to work hard to get that money back. And you're gonna have to prove yourself to get that money back. And you better, like, I tell you what, if this kid becomes like Nick Chubb 2.0, then he's gonna earn every dollar back for sure. And the Browns fans are gonna be incredibly happy. But we're still not going to excuse what you've done. We're still not going to excuse the behavior that you pulled. Obviously, we've been trying to get Deshaun Watson ran out of town for the last year and a half. And we're still trying to get that idiotic dude out of this city. So don't think we won't do it to you. Just because you're a beloved Ohio State Buckeye, just because you're on the Browns now, doesn't mean we're not going to run you out of town if you're going to be stupid. So be stupid. You can be stupid somewhere else, and we'll make sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop hitting women. Do your damn job. And hey, things will go well for you. Like, that's all you got to do. Schedule wise, I mean, this ties into the quarterback battle that's going on. I personally think that Joe Flacco is going to be the day one starter, just because
I think so too.
I think the veteran leadership is what you need. You need a guy who knows what the hell he's doing to start. Kenny Pickett, I think, is going to be lower in the depth chart than people think. I wouldn't listen to Tony Grossi and whatever the hell he says. He's not.
I think he's trade bait.
I think he's trade bait. I think the 3 quarterbacks you go into the season are going to be Joe Flacco, Shador, and Gabriel, because I'd rather have the 2 rookies over Kenny Pickett, because at least the 2 rookies look a lot better than Kenny Pickett does.
Right.
Even Gabriel, even though he's 5'0", like, at least he knows how to throw a football better than Kenny Pickett does. So
Exactly.
I will give him that. And for the people who said I have yet to see Dylan Gabriel throw a deep ball, he threw one yesterday and it was a perfect ball. So there you go. There's your deep ball.
Right.
Now they're saying because he didn't do it in pads and whatnot, and the guy was wide open because he cooked his defender, it doesn't really count. Even though it does, because, if the guy cooks his defender in the game, you kind of want him to make that throw. So that's beside the point. But I think Joe starts just because you have a gauntlet of the first few games, and I think you just need a veteran leader to get you past those games. And then once the calm hits, then you can start, depending on your record, you can start using the rookies and be like, listen, go give it a try, because we need to see what we got for next year. Joe, it's been great having you, but this is probably your last season, obviously. So we're going to let you chill, sit back. Unless you're winning us football games, then we're just going to let you go the whole way. But, like, we have the Bengals, the Ravens, the Packers, the Lions, then the Vikings and Steelers. The Vikings game, obviously, in London. And then you start to hit that little bit of calm against the Dolphins and the Pats and the Jets. Then it's back to the Ravens. Then it's the Raiders. Then the 49ers. Then it's the Titans and the Bears. Then it's the Bills, Steelers, and the Bengals again. So there's like a little, like a 3-game calmness of like the Dolphins and the Pats and the Jets, where it's like maybe those games, if you're not doing so hot, that's when you can start like Shador, Dylan Gabriel, be like, all right, we're gonna see what these 2 guys have, and we'll give it a shot. But like I said, if you can be at least 500, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 6 games before you play the Dolphins. If you could be at least 3-3 or 4-3, or excuse me, 3-3, 4-2. My bad. I can't do math. I can't count. or you're like a game under 500 or so or whatnot, then I can see keeping Flacco in that position just because you're like a game under 500 or you're a game above 500 or you're 2 games above 500. Like you said, you're 4-2. Like if you're 2-4, then let the rookies go. But if you're 4-2, or you're whatever it is, three and whatnot, then hey, listen, 3-3, let the rookies, or not let the rookies go, let Joe Flacco go if you're 3-3 or 4-2. Because at least he's got you somewhere, and he could easily beat the Dolphins, the Pats, and the Jets. And if you're 3-3 and 4-2, that's another 6-7. You're at 6-3 or you're at 7-2. And hey, that's almost guaranteed playoffs right there if you can win like the next 2 games after that.
Right.
So if you start off the season hot and people don't expect it, I'm riding with Joe Flacco in the hot hand, and
Absolutely.
I'm not stopping. Now, if you're like, okay, we guaranteed a playoff spot, we have like 2 games left or whatever, then I'll let the rookies go because it's like we've already guaranteed we don't need to win any more football unless you're playing for a home playoff game. Then you just keep letting them ride.
Right.
But I think Joe starts, and depending on what happens after the first 6 games, then it's just whether or not do the rookies play or not. That's at least that's my thoughts.
I mean, I think you can't go the whole season without at least one of them doing. Uh,
Yeah,
like I definitely think Gabriel is going to get the shot first over Shadur. Um, and even though I would want Shadur to at least start a few games this year, or at least like one or two, I almost feel like he won't get starts at all this year, especially if you wind up somehow keeping all four guys, which again I don't think is even going to happen. I think Pickett has to be a trade bait, especially if one of these teams needs a vet or needs a solid backup. Like the Titans are going to need a solid backup with with Will Levis out. The Jets obviously could need another backup as well if Fields keeps playing bad.
mm-hmm.
And we'll see how the rest of the league shakes out because every year there is some sort of team that gets an injury, and that's where Barry does tend to make a move. He has carried four quarterbacks in the
Yeah,
last like several years, pretty much since we've had Deshaun. So the difference is we actually have a pretty open quarterback, uh, you know, room right now where
which is
pretty
weird.
much anybody can win the job. So, but I think for the veterans on this team's sake, I think Flacco has to get the starts, especially early on, get them through the gauntlet, let the rookies sort of sit a little bit, and then I can see Gabriel getting a shot. And I mean, you just have to know what you have
Mm-hmm.
because um, even though I don't necessarily want this team to have another 3-win season, I also want a top 10 pick, either with
Yeah,
our pick or the Jags pick, because
yeah.
we're probably going to go quarterback as of next year. And it sounds like Arch is up there in at least Haslam's mind. The Haslams are very close to
The Mannings.
the Mannings. They are very close to Nick Saban as well, which was a name that Colin Coward put out there. And if anything, I think Saban would actually do better in a GM role as like a sort of like head of scouting sort of guy
Yeah.
because he recognizes talent way better than anybody could. And I just don't see how Nick could take a year or two off like that and then get back into the coaching. I just don't see how that's happened. But regardless, I don't even think Saban would do that. I think Saban is actually probably going to chill when it comes to being on college game day and stuff like that. I think he likes that role. And I think even guys like Urban, where they were just like, man, like I probably should have just stayed here because this is a better gig, and I can still put out my knowledge of football, and like everybody can truly appreciate it without me having to worry about putting my career on the line for how good I've been for this long. Um, but The quarterbacks that are going to come out next year are obviously, I think we all are fully aware, are going to be much better than this past year's. And so that's going to be the tank. Like, that's going to be the move that the Browns ultimately make. So you have to write that fine line of winning some games to like keep people proud and like keep people from losing their jobs. Like, you don't want Stefanski to get fired over this stuff. But if he gets the green light from Haslam to say, hey, we're going to win, 4 games this year, then okay, do what you got to do. Guys like Garrett and stuff, they won't be happy. Petonio won't be happy, but this is kind of the nature of the beast, and this is quite literally how this season could go. You never know. Now, are they going to continue to say, oh, we want to win games. We always want to win games, blah, blah, blah. Of course they will. Of course they will. They have to. They can't admit to tanking. Then that's when fines start to come out. But it is a real thing. And between us and the Jaguars, I know as Browns fans, we're going to be looking at those two teams specifically and seeing how they play throughout the season. Because we all think the Jaguars are still going to suck, and the Browns shouldn't be too great either. So just be prepared, Browns fans. Like, be prepared for another tough season, but there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and really that light will start shining once Watson is always off this team for good. That's the biggest thing.
Well, it's gonna start shining when he's gone, but it's gonna start shining like even if you do only win like 3 or so games and you get Arch Manning, you have 3 good quarterbacks in your room with Gabriel, Shador, and Arch Manning, and that's a positive future to look at.
Yeah.
I think that's a very happy and positive future right there. And I think things will get better once Barry's gone, once Deshaun's gone. Everything's going to feel a lot better because I doubt they're going to get rid of Stefanski because I think even the Haslams know that Stefanski is not really much of the problem.
Yeah.
Because Stefanski's a hell of a coach. It's just that he's been dealt a dog shit hand because of his GM and his lack of, I don't know how to draft players. And so that's not the fault of Stefanski. He's just doing with what he can with what he's got.
Yeah.
And there's times where we're like, how the hell is this guy making this work?
Yeah. I mean, he's a 2-time coach of the year for a reason. It's not like he's been bad.
Yeah, and there's games where we looked at it's like the Baltimore game last year. It's like, how the hell did we win this game last year? Like, we should have gotten curb stomped to the ground, and somehow, some way, Jameis threw for like 350 yards and 3 touchdowns and looked like an elite QB. And it's like, what the hell happened in this game?
Yeah.
We were not supposed to win this game at all. We were supposed to get curb stomped. And we somehow pulled it away. And then, obviously, I think the week before was the Bengals game. And that was the game Deshaun got hurt. And if we started with Joe Flacco in that game, we probably would have won that game because for some reason the Bengals just couldn't do anything against us. No. And the game before that was against the Giants when I think it was like the second home game of the season. And everyone's like,
oh, God, yeah.
We all started chanting Jameis Winston's name.
Yeah.
Like at the end of like the first quarter. And then Jameis started warming up and everyone's like getting hyped. It's like, yeah. And then obviously they fooled us. But when he sat down, it's like, God, man. Like, and he probably would have beaten the Giants too. So, but those are games we could have won, I'm sure. But obviously, the agenda that the front office had to push. We have to keep Deshaun out there. We have to keep him out there. It's like, no, you don't. But
right, well,
you're doing it because you paid him too much.
Right, like that's the thing is like they don't, but they do, because if they don't, they're just gonna look way worse. Because they paid Watson all of this money, and they still have to try to save face because they messed up. So I get it to a degree, but it does suck that like the Browns fans have just had to absolutely just endure this, and we really don't have a say in when it's going to end. Like, it's going to end when the team finally gives up on him and proves that we were correct as fans, that, hey, you guys made the wrong decision by doing this. So that's what I look forward to the most, is
Yeah,
just not having to deal with this crap because I'm beyond done with it.
I'm beyond done with it too. I think the whole I'm sure the whole league besides us is done with it. Like the league's like, can we just please just get rid of this guy and send him to oblivion, please? Like, can we just
Right.
not have him here anymore? Um, but yeah, there, like you said, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's a nice shining light, and we'll get there eventually. But we just have to get through the bumps in the road, or at least here in Cleveland, it's the potholes in the road. Just gotta avoid them. Yeah, we've had some pop tires over the last couple of years, but you know what? We've also had nice smooth roads like in 2020 and 2022 when we went to the playoffs twice. So there's definitely lights at the end of the tunnel in 2020 and 2023 or whatever. So those are the moments you have to remember. It's like ever since Stefanski came in the last 4 years, he took us to 2 playoff appearances in the last 4 years. You have to be thankful for that, and we have to remember that he's the one who got us in those positions to begin with,
Right.
and that there is some positivity. And I think that's why the Haslam's know that he's not the one to be fired, because he's the one who took us to 2 playoff appearances. And even with weird players, like teams that should not be in like a team that should not be in the playoffs, and yeah, somehow, some way, he's took them to the playoffs and scraped by and
Right.
made us an 11 win team twice somehow. So no matter what, I would always credit Kevin Stefanski for what he's done here, because he's given us some of the best memories of our Browns lives, and he's got a job to do this year. Definitely a tough one, but you know what though? I think it was said after the first preseason game they should know who's the starter for Week 1. Like I said, and like we both said, it's probably going to be Joe Flacco that starts Week 1, and Kenny Pickett will probably be traded somewhere else. You have the 2 rookies, unless they decide they want to keep Kenny Pickett. But from Mary Kay Cabot, Deshaun Watson should be off the pup list sometime in the middle of the season. So if they're going to carry 4 quarterbacks, I'm pretty sure they're going to have to carry Deshaun, which leaves Kenny Pickett the odd man now. And to be honest, I'd rather have Kenny over Deshaun at this point.
Oh, 1,000%. Like that's not even a debate.
No. But it is what it is. But Joe Flacco would get the nod, and I'm sure Kenny would ignore Deshaun on the bench and be like, listen, I'd rather give the rookies an opportunity. We already know what you got, Deshaun, and that's running into trouble and throwing 15 picks a game. So we already know what you got, and you got nothing. So we're not going to even bother with you.
Yeah, he's going to hold on to the ball too long, and he's going to take sacks when he doesn't need to. And yeah, like Deshaun's going to do what Deshaun does. Like it's just that's just how it goes with him. We know too well, and we don't need to know anymore. So Deshaun Watson can just go lay in a hole and just never come back out. He can go hibernate for all I care. Like I don't need him being a part of this town. I don't need him being a part of this team any longer. So
nope, not any longer.
So yeah, yeah. I mean that's pretty much gonna do it for me. I don't really have too much else in terms of Browns talk for us, so we can go ahead and get to our sponsor and go ahead and end this thing, baby.
Yeah. So quick shout out to the sponsor, Effortless Wins. They're here for sports betting advice, and they'll give you plays to help boost your wins. Talk to Tony and Greg. The links will be in the comment on YouTube and the description of Spotify. So be sure you guys click the links, check them out, join the Discord, as I am currently telling a play right now that they have given. And so far, we're on to game 2 of the night. It was a 3-leg baseball parlay. One was Logan Allen to get 4Ks. You got 4Ks today.
Lovely.
So we're on to leg number 2, which is the rookie Nick Kurtz from the Athletics, who's been phenomenal this year. He was a 4th overall pick. After we drafted Travis Bazzana, he went 3 picks later, and he's been raking for the Athletics. And we have him for 2 total bases, and then the 9-30 game with Taylor Ward of the Angels to get a hit. So if it all goes well, should go very well, should hit. And yeah, these guys have helped me quite a bit. I know they've helped Zach quite a bit. And These guys are absolutely amazing. They give out even if you don't send any money or whatnot, they will give you free plays to use, so you
Yep,
can just
very
try
well.
them out. So it's definitely worth a look. It's definitely worth a try. Talk to them; they'll hook you up, and it's definitely worth it.
Definitely is. It's definitely worth it. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
And there is a reason that they are so successful in how they're doing it. So yeah, shout out to the boys. And yeah, just go ahead and follow us on Twitter. We are pretty active in our own rights. So obviously we have our handles right here. The main reason why I want to push that is because your boy is going to be getting back into writing here very, very soon
Yes.
for the Dogland. So
Absolutely.
as we start getting uh, our website up and running again, I will obviously let y'all know. So that's why go follow us on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter specifically for that. And then go ahead and follow the Doglands Twitter as well, because that's where everything will get posted as well. But yeah, your boys are gonna get back into some writing. I've been very excited to do this, and I know they've been wanting to get back into it, and they brought up sort of that conversation last week, and I was just like, yeah, dude, I'm all in. Like, let's go. So expect some writing next week from me. I'm gonna be starting to work on that this weekend. So definitely expect that. It's going to be a lot of Browns stuff. So if you guys like my takes and my thoughts on the Browns, just on football in general, then be ready because
Yeah.
I am going to be doing at least one article a week. That's my goal.
Yeah, and if you want to see them in video form on TikTok, be sure you follow us on TikTok too at just BSM Pod. So
Yes,
we're gonna be posting
sir.
more on TikTok as well. I need to stop being a wimp and start posting because sometimes I just get a little caught up and whatnot, and I need to start posting because I need to just do it. But
Yeah, we're both guilty of that. It's okay.
yeah, so we're gonna put those articles into video form as well. So be sure you guys go check them out on TikTok, and we're gonna be posting a lot more on there. So yeah, it'd be great if you guys can support us on every platform that we're on. It'd be
Sir.
fantastic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, we will see y'all next week. Hopefully, with another update on Judkins, more football talk, more Guardians talk, and whatever else comes out in between. Till then, we'll see y'all next time.